Born in Norwich in 1782, the oldest son of a prosperous silk merchant and lace dealer, John Sell Cotman showed a talent for art from an early age, but his family expected him to join the family business. Cotman was determined to become an artist. Moving to London in 1798, aged 16, he came under the patronage of Dr. Thomas Munro and making the acquaintance of Turner and Girton. In 1800, Cotman exhibited at the Royal Academy, where he gained recognition and continued to exhibit there until 1806. He returned to Norwich, where his main income became teaching art and creating etchings of his highly detailed drawings and watercolours of English scenery and architecture. In later years, he also painted many marine subjects, building a collection of books, prints and model boats to aid him. In 1834, he was appointed Master of Landscape Drawing at King's College School on the recommendation of Turner. Financial troubles plagued him his whole life, and in his final years, as his health declined, he produced less and less work. Cotman died in 1842, aged 60. He left everything to his wife. Cotman's work was not thought to be important during his own lifetime, and he made little money from sales of his work, his main income being from teaching. Over the 5-day sale at Christie's after his death, his drawings and paintings achieved £260, his collection of books £300, and prints £30. Cotman is most well known for his watercolours and drawings produced from 1803 to 5 during his extensive tours of the north of England. It was during these years he honed his eye with detailed pencil sketches, sometimes noting architectural elements, other times the pattern of shapes and tones. His watercolours do not shout. The muted colours and gentle transitions of tone are in stark contrast to someone like his contemporary Turner. Yet they have presence and show clearly Cotman's love of the landscape. For many of the finished watercolours, those done back in the studio, you find pencil sketches or watercolours which he would have done in the field. The progression from one to the next show how he changed, added and moved parts around for the sake of a composition that worked and also went beyond just a record of what he had seen, but included some narrative or drama. Cotman's mastery of the flat wash and his ability to build thin, transparent layers of watercolour are what make his paintings worthy of study. For this week's exercise, I want you to take one of the drawings that you did looking at Clarice Beckett and use that as the basis of a composition. You might add, take, change the shape of things, but maintain the tonal pattern. If something's dark, keep it dark. If something's light, keep it light within the composition that you come up with. Have a play with a few different compositions on a very small scale, and you might start to explore using the watercolour in simple flat washes. If you can, use some of the colours like what Cotman would have used. Here on my palette you can see yellow ochre, burnt sienna, raw umber, cerulean blue, Prussian blue and black. These colours will help maintain those muted, earthy tones that you see in Cotman's watercolours. I'm also using 2 sable brushes for this exercise, a large number 9 and a number 4. When you're satisfied with a composition that you have come up with, transfer that onto a piece of watercolour paper. In this case, I'm using a 300 GSM piece of arche, roughly about 9 inches by 12 inches, And I have drawn out my design, including as much detail as I can from the drawing that I have done previously, as well as any other material such as photographs that I have taken of the scene. So that means I'm looking for knots in trees, maybe where one group of trees is a mass of one tone, but there might be 2 or 3 trees there, differentiating between those different trees. I've done this drawing in a 2H pencil, so it's quite a hard pencil, and it means that then doesn't run so much when we apply the watercolour washes over the top. The key to Cotman's technique is building up thin, transparent layers of watercolour. Here you can see me working across the whole surface, starting with the sky, and laying that sky in very, very light, transparent washes of cerulean blue and a mix of cerulean and burnt sienna for the darker parts of the clouds. I've then laid in a lot of the rest of it in yellow ochre to warm and join those trees together. I've then also laid in a grey for the road and finished details in the skies. This has all been done with a big number 9 sable brush. Now I'm coming in again and starting to work up areas of foliage with another layer of yellow ochre, varying that in some areas and starting to paint in the detail with a stronger mixture of raw umber and yellow ochre, starting to create some different areas of tone. Try using the yellow ochre and the raw umber to create tonal differences in areas, like there on the right hand tree, and then wash over that whole area or part of that area with another colour, which, as you could see here, I did with Prussian blue, creating that blue over yellow, creating the secondary green. Then into those areas start to paint in slightly darker tones, subtle shifts of tones. These will create more interest rather than them being just flat areas of colour. Use the largest brushes you have for as long and for as much of the painting as you can. They help you create clear, flat washes. So most of this painting has been done with my number 9 sable. It means that I can hold a lot of water in that brush and thus a lot of colour in that brush, and work over an area and slowly keep pulling that little bead that will form down and in the direction that you want to go. I have worked entirely flat during this exercise, and it's just that big brush and it loaded with plenty of colour and plenty of water helps me get that whole area covered with the watercolour. Don't be afraid of washing over one whole part, like the trees here, with a darker tone. So both the trees at that stage, I've washed over them with a wash of ivory black. That darkens them. You lose all the detail when you first do it, but as it dries, all that underneath detail appears again. Keep chasing your initial tonal masses that you did in the first sketch that you have used. As I said earlier, if something is dark, keep working it until it gets dark, but keep working it with layers of thin wash. So the tree there in the centre, some of those areas of foliage now along the roadway are getting up to maybe 10 layers of colour. The final thing I'll say about this is the idea of maintaining crisp, clear whites. From the very beginning, I decided to keep the water, and particularly those areas in the sky, as the white of my paper. And so I haven't gone over those with any washes at all. And that adds to that effect of drama and interest that we see in Cotman's watercolours too. As always, good luck with the exercise. Enjoy the process. Enjoy those beautiful transparent washes that you can get, and play with these colours and see what you can do. Take care. Until next time.